Let me call to order the special town council meeting for this Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Item number 2 on our agenda is public comment. If there's anyone here for public comment, please come forward. Going once. All right, seeing no one for public comment. Item 3 is executive session for personnel. Item 1 is consideration of applications to serve on the Board of Zoning Appeals. There's 1 vacancy. 2 is consideration of applications to serve on the Planning Commission. 3 is consideration of applications to serve on the Historical Commission. 4, discussion of a personnel matter regarding the conduct of an individual serving on a town board. Do we have a motion to go into executive session for the reasons stated?
So moved.
Motion second. Let me read this before we vote. Council may take action on any item, including any subsection of any item listed on an executive session agenda or discussed in executive session during a properly noticed meeting. All in favor of going into executive session for the 4 reasons stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We are in executive session.
I've never been there either, but I mean, there's a lot of gold going on there. Probably come back at 15. So the teacher that I've been talking with, but they're also like typically like $4 down that would get. I think they got one. I think the person like even like half the cost. Yeah.
everybody was trying to get me pregnant. Traffic coming down the main road on a 2-lane road. And both lanes were like this. And you had people trying to turn out of those, and they just all left. It was just chaos. We're just sitting watching. Really?
That's how the air show went down to Beaufort for the air show back in the spring. And it was 2.5 hours. Like we just sitting there and then there's cars going everywhere. And we were like, I don't want to do it.
Hey,
That's what she said.
did you eat a coffee?
Oh, my family downstairs.
That's
So we're safe and we're sitting in front of this. Like, just stop. Like, we got in easy and it's just like, we were like, we laughed. Like everywhere you look, you're like, oh, they're jumping that way. And as soon as you pass it, I like this, that lane. And you see it going this way. So we were like, we laughed, we clouded. It's fine.
Yeah. It is what it is. Next weekend up there at the intersection, Rogers and whatever. We were good. But until we got there, it's just like,
But it was so funny when I started living here. Looking forward to July. Parking cars. I just work out on the road. We said, I go, yeah, to the city police. I'm a city guy. Here. I was like, yeah, you're a trooper. You stay on asphalt. He's like, I didn't know right to it. He's like, 6 years. I just hit 29. There was because they had one that passed. It was the weekend. They had one that did. He got treated in the police. This morning the mayor left it. They were saying whatever. I held, and I didn't keep watching. I went to go catch the other line. He kept going. We got word of prayer in his window for a little bit. I realized that I actually sent I was working correct and was in a wreck, and then that happened. So and his door was not locked. When I get to it, so the door comes open. We had long word of prayer, and I finally, Jesus Christ. I go direct, and I see all this red. They're all like,
Good, glad to hear it.
right. I was like, I'm good. Just like,
That's how I roll.
he's like, this is not even a hazardous job. That's all the time. That's what we do. Exactly.
That was my fault.
That's the only thing. Critique everything else.
fairly simple, and I can definitely send you some questions to it, but, let me know what it is, but fairly simple. Yeah, we probably know it after. You guys know SWAT recommendations. Alright, got so much else.
Yeah, a lot of followers.
Apparently, I was like, we came out one thing.
What Marines do.
God, you always would better. I tried to get a partnership. Well, it's bad for that. That'll make it today. We had time to do that. You know, we just check it every year.
Serious?
Yeah.
That is terrible. We're ready for documentation of the lawsuit. Holy cow.
Would be
We
upset.
said there's storage issue. We have storage issue.
Sure, lots of people. Yeah, fire department. Like we that's most of those cars we have in the impound lot. People.
I mean, I could see like maybe holding that on. He's like, oh, we'll take that.
Take that over car.
Easy stuff.
Bottom fluids.
You have to cut out a section wall, like this one each section.
Oh, yeah.
Usually you got each section wall.
Yeah, concentrate. You do anything about that.
You got pretty other storage, special storage for drugs, special storage for large items. Oh, yeah. We don't
Cost whoever goes out of business, part of the finance.
we don't think that's
So if you consolidated all of them.
We're lucky so much that we can digital. That's so many files. Like the Beavers, those were fun.
Did you?
Better than 40.
If some of this light gets to the thing,
That's when you get in trouble.
So that's why you have like, say, in 20 years, you said they have a suspect that means they may have disposed of it.
They were just saying the other day that they think future cluster will not be involved until it's called in 67. 66 is coming up now.
that are out there that have done stuff because the technology wasn't that good. Got away with it for a while. Those were not those years like this. Hey, one mistake.
You go there and volunteer, will bring anything home?
like, okay, well,
They tried one of the years. Baseball to decide to mix into other jurisdictions. Tried to try to once we became yeah. No ball.
Great. So. Come by.
It was weird when like first time you like opened your driver's license.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. 16 years. And you the officers and
Yeah,
that.
you are.
I was the first time writing a ticket. Like one, I read the TV here like they're like younger than my
Yeah, how do you do
all.
It's just too much.
I try.
Like it's your job.
Tell me about it. Where's my OT? I don't know. 16. Is that your oldest?
How's the office going, Mark?
Fun.
I suppose. Y'all do all right? Oh, that's just
But it was good. But I was just like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. But now you see it on the other side. You can have that knowledge.
Oldest is nice.
Good.
Nice to see you.
I don't know if there's any.
he was sitting there in January. Son called. Grayson's border. He was like, what you need? He was like, no, we're they've not even told them that they're more frumpy clothes. They were figuring out how they were gonna tell. And so yeah, that's what we did. But yeah, so it was so funny because Chip Pocket called me in the morning. Yeah, I was like, it just like texting like, you're not dead right, are you? And he was like, no, later. And I was like, and so that was what was called. Just called him. So into like shock, he ended up calling me, and so then we talked that night. He sent me a picture. This is my grandchild.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. No, I was saying, because we were talking about team drive, we just got a soccer club. We just got some of our players driving practice specifically on Highway 17. I was taking over to speak with your daughter.
We're sitting down front.
Well, Rebecca drew our attention here.
We don't think it's gonna be an hour and a half before they get to the agenda. I'll sit down.
This means get up.
Well, I've also.
Some of those annoying front row people.
Well, yeah, the close-in parking lot out there on the tower. So I
It's
took,
always leaves.
yeah, and I do too, but I thought that was a good sign.
That's a good point.
insurance, town center's done, and people can't talk about how they vote on it. You wouldn't think.
And he had told somebody at a
You wouldn't think. Yeah, but there you go. Yeah.
I was leaving and they were going off.
It is.
This is golf weather, David.
It is.
Been enjoying that.
Well, probably working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Golf, generally on Thursday. Rockets. Yes.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Finally go to the doctor.
How did y'all? Did y'all work out the?
That's something else. I said, I was, you know, some of the golf is like that. You gotta go to that person and how.
Hi.
Last week. Better than It was a good trip. Still. He admitted everything. We got to what do we say?
I just got that one.
They still offer that.
Yeah.
We can get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about that aspect. We'll never
Well, that's, some Jerry.
Just check my wallet. Okay, so we'll.
Here's what it is. Doesn't seem that she was very good. You got to get, I think it's good. Yeah. Well, and I don't have any representatives, so I took out this area. There you go. All right.
Yeah, all yours, yeah.
Okay, so there's the word like. I'm so glad she. Savannah. Yeah, that's what I said. Y'all should find her. I did, yeah. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
For that. How was he in there? Couldn't finish. Don't blame him.
Yeah. So it's like, guess what? Right, it makes more sense.
How you doing?
Award is just for you. Welcome.
No. Okay. If I get them before you. Oh, she's got it.
chance of getting out of here before 9 o'clock. At least so far. Exactly.
Today, just called John and offered him the job, making more money.
Congratulations.
I'm happy for him, excited for him. Thank you for helping.
Hello, where? Good. How are you?
You don't typically do that. 30 years is impressive.
It's chilly. All right, that's good. Ooh, I see a surprise. Yes. She's gonna start playing. I think Hannah, not Hannah, that's her daughter. We might get two.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That would be my desire. No, Jake is sick tonight, so I should have said that earlier. Where's Gary? If everyone would have a seat, we're going to reconvene from executive session, please. He's here. And this way. Yeah, we do. All right, we have reconvened from executive session. No action was taken, no votes were cast. Do we have any motions to result from the discussions in executive session, please? Mr. Chapman? Okay.
Rivera for the position on the Historical Commission.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to appoint Georgette Rivera to the Historical Commission. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, she is appointed. Next, please.
I move to appoint Andrea Cornick to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, Ms. Cornick is appointed to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Next, please. For Planning Commission. That's you.
I'd like to move to reappoint Brett Bennett to the Planning Commission.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Bennett is reappointed to the Planning Commission. He is currently serving as chair. Are there any other motions?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to remove Deidre Kennedy from the tree task force, a board member.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Ms. Hyde?
I am not in favor of removing a board member. We haven't even heard from Mrs. Kennedy, or spoken with her about the situation. And, I would not approve removing a member of the board that's a volunteer at this time.
Yes, sir.
I'm also not in favor because we've not heard from Mrs. Kennedy.
Any others? I agree with those two comments. I think before anyone is tried and found guilty, they should be heard from. I don't think there's been any due process in this. And for the record, Ms. Kennedy was on her own property, not representing the town. And there's certainly a precedent for people's free speech, as members of this esteemed body have learned and benefited from. And she was exercising her First Amendment rights on her own property to protect her own property. And I will not be voting to remove her. Any other comments? If not, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mr. Brownstein?
Yes.
Mr. Brownstein votes yes. Mr. Chapman?
No.
Mr. Chapman votes no. Ms. Hyatt?
No.
Ms. Hyatt votes no. Mr. Iacofano?
Yes.
Mr. Iacofano votes yes. Mr. Rambo is absent. Mr. Santos?
No.
Mr. Santos votes no. Mr. Tinky?
No.
Mr. Tinky votes no. Ms. Whitley?
No.
Ms. Whitley votes no. Mayor Haney?
No.
Mayor Haney votes no.
By a vote of 6-2, the motion to remove Ms. Kennedy fails. There being no further business before this body, we stand adjourned. We will reconvene at 6 o'clock for our monthly meeting. Okay.
Get rid of one book.
No.
Hey.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. You got a bag? You got your thing? Yeah, I'm gonna run back here to that restroom.
Yeah, I don't go to any of them. You're supposed to be intimidated.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Speaking of annexation, how you doing?
Keep my irons in the fire, basically. Wait for the next election cycle myself.
Because we would be intimidated by cutting the county. Interesting. He's coming into it.
Yeah.
Well, should be a pretty light meeting.
But like, lots of times they'll have a happy hour. Bouncing around. And you can see, hey, all right, so where are we? This is us. Got so many of them. Yeah, that property is a nice property, man.
Before we start, is Chaplain Guild here? Chaplain Guild? No? Do we have a volunteer to do the invocation then? Okay, thank you. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but just a second. Madam Clerk, are we past 6 o'clock? All right, let me call this to order. Let me call to order the Tuesday, September 9th Town Council meeting from Mount Pleasant Town Council. It's good to see everyone here. Thank you for being here. And please introduce yourself to everyone and do our prayer, please. Sir.
Well, to those who might not know, I'm Pastor Thomas Dixon. I'm the Associate Pastor of Life Community Church over here in beautiful Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And it's an honor and privilege to be here and to be asked to say a moment of prayer in opening here.
Thank you very much. So let's stand for the prayer, and after that, the pledge, led by Mayor Pro Tem Whitley.
With all heads bowed and all hearts and minds clear. Father, we thank you, Lord, for the blessing of another day, to give thanks and to serve you, as we serve our community, Lord, to serve you. And for this meeting tonight, I pray your blessing over it. I pray that your heart be the heart of all of our public servants who are present, and that all of the constituents here also come with that same heart of service to you, because it's only through you will everybody be served. I pray this prayer, I ask this blessing in our Savior's name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Item number 3 is approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Item 4 is public hearings, awards, and presentations. First, we will start with Business Appreciation Week proclamation. Mrs. Hyatt.
Okay. I'd love to invite Ms. Rebecca Imholes and Karina Garrison from our Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce, if they could come up and join me here for the proclamation. Thank you, ladies. Okay. All righty. Whereas the town of Mount Pleasant is a business-friendly community that would like to show appreciation to the individuals that do business here and contribute to the growth and economic health of our community, and whereas the local economy of Mount Pleasant is stimulated by businesses that create jobs and employment opportunities, allowing citizens to earn money, support their families, and thus reinvest in the community, and whereas the town of Mount Pleasant supports the entrepreneurial spirit by being a community that not only welcomes new businesses, but supports them by providing resources and offering assistance throughout the startup process. And whereas the town strives to build and strengthen relationships amongst local entrepreneurs and business owners and create a supportive, open, and encouraging business environment that is inviting and attractive. And whereas the town of Mount Pleasant wishes to showcase and recognize the success of businesses within the community, now therefore, I, Will Haney, Mayor of Mount Pleasant, proclaim September 14th through the 20th, 2025 as Business Appreciation Week in the town of Mount Pleasant, with a goal of providing a fresh and ever-evolving atmosphere to remain a competitive, interesting, and desirable destination in which to do business. It's signed by the mayor.
Thank you.
So I just want to present you ladies. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hyatt. Item 4B is longevity awards. I think we have 3 tonight. So
Mayors and members of council, it is my honor to recognize Hillary Repick for 30 years of dedicated service to the town of Mount Pleasant. Hillary began her career in 1995 as a custodian in the Public Services Department. In 1997, she was promoted to be an administrative clerk, 2. In 1998, she became the town's first official stormwater manager, a position she held for about 24 years. During those 24 years, Hillary grew and developed the town's stormwater program. In her capacity, she interfaced with thousands of residents concerning stormwater issues and assisted in numerous stormwater projects around town. She also started the town's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, NPDES, program and oversaw the town's Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, MS4 permit. Over the years, the stormwater manager position evolved into the stormwater manager / stormwater division chief as the roles and responsibilities for the position increased, and she took on increased leadership and management responsibilities. In 2020, the stormwater division was moved from the Public Services Department to the new Engineering and Development Services Department, and Hillary served as the division chief there. During her time in stormwater, Hillary was actively involved in both the South Carolina Association of Stormwater Managers, SCASM, and the Southeast Stormwater Association, SESWA, and served as the president of both organizations. The town's stormwater efforts were also recognized as some of the best in the state and region with her at the helm. In August of 2022, Hillary was promoted to be the operations officer for the Public Services Department, which is the position she still holds today. The position was originally created to serve as the number 3 position in the Public Services Department, responsible for overseeing training, equipment, safety, and accreditation.
In this capacity, Hillary served as the accreditation manager for the department and was the driving force in ensuring that the Public Services Department became an accredited agency by the American Public Works Association in December of 2023. Hillary is serving as the department's operations officer and now has direct oversight of the grounds division and the waste management division. Over the years, Hillary has been the project manager for numerous projects to include many infrastructure projects, the Whitehall Terrace Community Center, the Children's Circle Memorial, and she currently is the lead project manager for the Public Services Operations Center construction at 6 Mile, which should be completed this coming spring. Hillary's a walking encyclopedia of knowledge regarding the town. If you have a question, I'll bet she knows the answer or knows where to find the answer. One of the best things about Hillary is that she is so eager and excited to share this knowledge with her coworkers. She is a great mentor, trainer, and teacher, and she is also always willing to jump in and help out with whatever needs to be done, no matter what the task. Hillary continues to have a great impact on the town, but also regionally and nationally. She currently serves as the American Public Works Association South Carolina Low Country Branch President-elect and is on the national accreditation team for the American Public Works Association. Throughout all this, Hillary has still found time to be a wife, a mother of 3, and a volunteer in the community, serving as a Boy Scout troop leader for many years. Hillary's 30-year career reflects an unwavering commitment to public service, innovation, and this community. Her impact on the Public Services Department and Mount Pleasant's growth and resilience is immeasurable. Hillary, you're awesome. It's a true honor to celebrate this milestone with you. Congratulations on 30 years of remarkable service to the town of Mount Pleasant.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. We have 2 recognitions tonight, one for 25 years and one for 30 years. I'd like to ask SRO Tamika Brown, 25 years of service, to come forward. Well, which side you're on. Tamika began her service on September 5th of 2000 with Mount Pleasant Police Department. She has served as a patrol officer, a waterfront park officer, and a school resource officer. She's currently the Bell Hall Elementary SRO. She's worked at Wando High School, Pinckney Elementary, Cario Middle School, and East Cooper Montessori. Anybody under the age of 20 has probably had her as an SRO if they've lived in Mount Pleasant. So, the Bell Hall Elementary Assistant Principal Bramble had this to say about SRO Brown. SRO Brown is the best resource officer we've ever had. She has a positive relationship with all students, families, and staff. She demonstrates the strongest professionalism and responsibility. We are blessed to have her part of the Bell Hall Elementary family. I can't speak highly enough about Tamika. It dawned on me. She rode with me for a very brief period of time when she was in training. And, you know, it's been amazing watching her career, literally growing up alongside her and Detective Niece in this organization. This is what service and dedication looks like. So congratulations on 25 years. And Danny Niece. So, serving more than 25 years in law enforcement with the same community is a remarkable milestone. It reflects resilience, dedication, and deep-rooted trust. Such longevity is not only a demonstration of commitment to public safety, but also signifies the officer's role in anchor stability and continuity both for his colleagues and the residents. Danny started 1 month after I did. We literally have kind of worked side by side. He began in September of 2000. His role, or 95 rather. He served as a patrol officer, a field training officer, hostage negotiator, harbor patrol officer, member of the Family Crisis Unit. He's now in his second tour in investigations as a detective. His first tour, we were in investigations together, worked a tremendous number of cases together. He had a specialty working with children. He has for many years. Both of these individuals have worked with the children and the youth in this community for years and years and years. He's helped to investigate numerous arrests, made countless cases ranging from shopliftings to homicide. He is our veteran detective and the longest serving detective with the most experience. He's been recognized on multiple occasions for volunteering with the public and community events. So his sacrifice, I thank his family who is here. I thank Tamika's friends and family that are all here. We have colleagues past and present from the department that are here in support of both of these individuals. So, Danny, thank you for 30 years. I'm going to enjoy continuing to work with you for as long as we're both here.
All right. Did we complete the longevity? All right. Thank you very much. Item 5 is approval of the minutes from the August 12th, 2025 special and regular town council meetings and the July 2025 financial statement. And just mark, I will abstain since I was absent for that meeting.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 6 is public comment. If you're here to make a public comment when your name is called, please come forward. 2.5 minutes. Please give your name and address.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First speaker, David Spedden.
David Spedden, 3429 Tumor Kiln Circle. Good evening. Every day, headlines, social media posts, and conversations with neighbor points to the same thing. Charleston County traffic crisis is getting worse. The system is failing. Charleston County is ignoring the alarms. We're one of the fastest growing areas in the state that rank #1 in economic growth. But while our economy is booming, our roads are choking. South Carolina's 2025 infrastructure report card improved from a D to a D+. The report makes it clear our biggest challenge is keeping up with the population growth. So I have to ask, why are we not expanding Highway 41? I've written 2 op-eds on this and provided you, the town council, a presentation factually outlining the road to compromise as the worst option to pursue. I've also addressed the county council with Mayor Haney at the July Finance Committee meeting and again at the August monthly council meeting. I emailed our 2 county representatives offering to share my research on this. One never replied and the other one wasn't interested. Highway 41 is not a back road. It's a critical regional artery, and it has become a daily source of gridlock, danger, and frustration. Instead of fixing the problem, the county is pushing a plan that causes more harm than good. The road to compromise or traffic diversion is a theory not rooted in replicated factual success. Highway expansion has a proven track record. I've learned from our singular efforts are not effective, and we need the power of many to make an impact. So tonight, I ask that you take action. I ask that you form a committee to build a unified response against the road to compromise. Include Smart Growth 41, local HOAs, residents. We can hold public meetings, present facts, and launch a petition that builds overwhelming support to stop the road to compromise. The destruction of Laurel Hill Park alone gives us a powerful rallying point to build from. But this effort must start here. It must start tonight. We need one of you to step up and chair and champion this cause. I'll stand beside you. I'll devote my time. I'll even co-chair if that's what it takes, so somebody's not overburdened with additional workload. But don't let another day, week, or month go by with frustration and inaction. Make the motion, start the committee, lead the effort. Let's do this together. Thank you.
Mike Van Horn.
Good evening, Council. Mike Van Horn, Iron Bridge Drive. I just want to let all the current candidates and also those that are running for office, just as a reminder that October 16th from 6:30 until 9. We'll have a candidate forum right here at Town Hall. That's welcome to everybody. We'll be soliciting questions from the residents throughout the community, and we'll have 2 moderators during that time as well. The other thing I'd like to talk about during the committee meetings, there was the focus for the 2025 wage focus. And obviously everybody in town knows as far as the situation that happened with the recent home invasion for a resident, and thank God nothing happened to those individuals in that household. But I would like to see council take the recommendation of the money that we have that's sitting in the budget and also earmarked for other things, focus on our police force to make sure, because, you know, we had the nutrition situation whenever obviously, Chief Ritchie, now Sheriff Ritchie, left, and we had some individuals that left. We've had individuals that have moved up into the ranks, so therefore we need to backfill with these individuals. And we had $10,000 that was earmarked for the financial things as far as putting things online for transparency. There's $25,000 earmarked for pollinator or tokens throughout the community. And also the big one, if we settle the situation with Shem Creek as far as the parking garage, that's $50,000 a month approximately. So there's plenty of money to put in towards the safety of this community. So I hope the council will sit there and look at those situations to put the money where it belongs. Thank you.
Kevin Cunane.
Good evening. Kevin Cunane, Dunes West. A few years back, we told the mayor, you will not attend 9/11 events and pretend you're a supporter of firemen after you opposed line of duty cancer protection for firefighters. Then afterwards, you also went against the simple memorial for 9/11. Absurd. Mr. Mayor, when you tried to keep our parks closed indefinitely during COVID, we told you that you will not do so. When you became enamored with your perceived emergency powers, council let you know that you will not be the tyrant that you wanted to be. Our police and fire departments need better staffing, pay, and equipment, but you will not make them a priority. You will not even look at the failing staffing model of the MPFD, even after a citizen death. When our overworked police officers are held back from responding to a felony crime scene, we will not stand for it. We also will not accept the mayor's whiny excuses for inaction. By the way, Mr. Mayor, where are you pulling the police from for the extra patrols you promised yesterday on social media? What area will now have even less coverage? When a citizen's pushing a baby stroller and hit by a car, we will not stand for inaction. When a robbery occurred on Highway 41, we will not stand for the skeleton crews of police anymore. It's time to wake up to what's going on in the size of this town. If there's 8 cars on patrol in a town of 50 square miles, 100,000 people, and you ever thought about what that means? How far they have to travel? How many miles it is from where I live, say, to here? And there's even more of the town past here. Has anyone ever thought of these things? My neighbor got killed in a fire because the fire department couldn't get enough crews there quick enough. Plain and simple. They work very hard. They do a great job. But there's simply not enough coverage in the fire department or the police department. But that seems to be okay to a lot of you. Definitely seems to be okay to the mayor, because he's had 10 years and hasn't done anything about it. And I know for sure, you all know, you've heard it from me before, you can't play dumb now. It's time. Wake up. Something's got to be done on our police and fire side. You're sticking our responders in bad spot as well as our citizens. Thank you.
Kurt Thomas.
Good evening, Mayor, County Council members, fellow residents of Mount Pleasant. Kurt Thomas, 2956 Emma Lane, here in Mount Pleasant. My name is Kurt Thomas again. I'm a proud resident here in Mount Pleasant. I'm a father of a Marine, I'm an Air Force officer with 21 years of experience, former state trooper with the South Carolina Highway Patrol, and a small business owner. I stand here tonight not only as a candidate for mayor of Mount Pleasant, but also a concerned citizen who loves this town and believes that we can do better. In conversations with parents and business owners and retirees and young families, I hear the same thing over and over. Our citizens feel that their voices aren't being heard. We just heard that earlier tonight. Whether it's public safety, growth, infrastructure, or taxes, too many decisions are being made about us and not with us. When leadership stops listening, trust, and I'm going to repeat that again, trust breaks down, and we're seeing that now. As a former state trooper of South Carolina, I understand what it takes to keep communities safe, but our police, firefighter, and EMTs cannot do their jobs, and that was just stated, cannot do their jobs without real support. We must invest in training, staffing, and resources so that they can keep our neighborhoods safe. Mount Pleasant is growing fast. Someone just said it. Mount Pleasant is growing very fast, but growth without vision creates problems. Congested roads, strained schools, and increased pressure on our first responders. We need leaders who will listen and plan ahead and put people before politics. This isn't about one person or one election. It's about the future of our town. Let's work together to restore trust. And I'm just going to say that one more time. We need to work together to restore trust for our town. Support those who protect us and make smarter decisions, safer decisions for our town here in Mount Pleasant. Thank you for your time.
Ellen Moore.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. I am here tonight as a concerned citizen, hoping to be heard and questioning why you would rubber stamp a $60 million bond fund for Mount Pleasant Waterworks and not encourage or consider any public input before you approve this massive bond request today in the consent agenda for the second and final reading. This current two-reading governance model used by the town council is broken. It is antiquated and 40 years old. It needs to change to allow for citizen input before you make decisions and vote. So today in this final reading, have you adequately scrutinized this request from Mount Pleasant Waterworks, including their financials? Do you take issue at all with anything in their 5 points issues? Like the $6 million for a fleet maintenance facility when that construction has already begun? I do. I think it's a little interesting that they're asking for that support more than a year after construction has begun. Ultimately, are resident and tax dollars being used wisely in support of this debt? And how will our water bills be impacted? I don't know about you, but my resident water bill went up 7.5% in July. And what I see is increase in personnel in their financial statements ended July of 2024. Their personnel costs went up 21%, expenses up 13%, revenues relatively flat at just about 3%. So as taxpayers and homeowners in Mount Pleasant, how are Mount Pleasant Waterworks and their teams controlling expenses? Mr. Crum indicated in his report that the water fees are based on expenses, and he didn't know how water rates would be impacted by the new $20 million aquifer that they propose to drill that will allegedly last us 20 or 100 years or more, perhaps. I would just ask you, how are you holding Mount Pleasant Waterworks accountable to carefully and judiciously manage and control expenses so that residents of Mount Pleasant are not paying exorbitant water bills to cover these expenses now and in the future? Are there incentives in place? And why the need for more staffing when water usage is relatively flat? So I ask you to get tough.
Alex Scatell.
Good evening, Mayor Haney, members of council, and neighbors. My name is Alex Cattell, and I want to thank, first of all, the council. I know this can be a thankless job, so just thank you for what you do every day, every month, serving our community, and I truly appreciate that. I grew up in Charleston, spent most of my time here in Mount Pleasant. After a decade in Washington, D.C., my wife and I moved back to the Low Country to raise our family, first to Isle of Palms and more recently here to Mount Pleasant. One of the things I've always admired about Mount Pleasant is that even though the city has grown, it's kept its character and its exceptional people. Since the incident in my home, I've seen the character demonstrated so clearly through the leadership of this city, neighbors helping lend a hand, and the response of the community. I especially want to recognize our city administrator, Eric Demora. He's been exceptional in listening and acting quickly. He and Chief Arnold helped focus immediate attention on the most important thing for my family. And the overwhelming number of friends, neighbors, and Mount Pleasant residents I've spoken to, which is hunting down and arresting this person who targeted our community. I also want to thank the mayor for facilitating those connections and making this a priority, the detectives for their professionalism, and all of you on council for your continued focus on public safety. On the morning of September 5th, an armed and masked intruder appearing to wear body armor and prepared for a deadly confrontation spent 5 minutes inside my home while my wife and 2 young children were asleep upstairs. What makes this most disturbing is not just what he took, but what he represents. Someone willing to enter an occupied home in the middle of the night with families inside and move on to target other houses and vehicles in our neighborhood. I want the public to understand how dedicated our officers are. The police who responded to my home were willing to enter a house not knowing what or who they would encounter on the other side of the door. That takes courage, and I'm grateful for their service and commitment. Yes, what happened is frightening, but I want to be clear. I am not afraid, and my family is not going to live in fear. The person who came into our home should be the one living in fear, because they awakened a community that does not take this threat lightly. Together with our police, we will send a message to anyone who threatens our town. Mount Pleasant will hunt you down and bring you to justice. What happened in my home was deeply personal, but what was followed has been deeply encouraging. The resilience of our people, the dedication of our police, and the leadership from City Hall have shown me that this is still the same Mount Pleasant I grew up in, a place where neighbors care for each other and where we meet challenges together. I hope we can keep this spirit as we do our part to find this person. Pray as if everything depends on God, and work as if everything depends on you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana Coleman.
Good evening. My name is Dana Coleman. I'm from the 10 Mile community, born and raised. Did the Jenny Moore, Lang, Wando, graduated from Wando. And I just wanted to speak on what's coming up later on today. If you annex the 4 properties that will be referenced here today, located in the 10 Mile Historic District, you will weaken the historic district. You will provide a way for investors and developers to avoid the Charleston County Historic District process and save the dwindling Gullah Geechee communities and to avoid the 10 Mile Communities Overlay District. You will contribute to the increase in the number of homes that have architecture that have architecture that is uncharacteristic of the community. 10 Mile became a historic district to preserve and protect the settlement patterns, visual appeal, home styles, and lot sizes that are characteristic of the community and allow a path for generations of descendants to be able to return to the community to live. In addition to the overlay, the 10 Mile Historic District is revising an area character appraisal which documents the overall character of the community from lot sizes to how those lots are developed, the types of homes that are characteristics, as well as documenting those that don't fit the character and aren't compatible and aren't complementary to what was there before. There are several initiatives in play to protect the remains of 10 Mile. Annexation will nullify all these efforts to protect this community. please deny the annexation request and help us save one of the few remaining Gullah Geechee communities left in East Cooper. Thank you.
Paul Franklin.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Paul Franklin. I'm a resident of Mount Pleasant. Tonight I'm here to speak on behalf of the Mount Pleasant Exchange Club. Those who are unfamiliar with Exchange, we are a nationwide community service organization. It's over 114 years old. Our members give their energy to and their time and their financial resources to 4 key areas. One is the prevention of child abuse. The second would be Americanism, which covers anything with first responder causes, veterans issues. The third area is youth academic scholarships, and the fourth is community service local issues. The Mount Pleasant Exchange Club has been here since the 1940s. We have a history of having business leaders, city officials, citizens that just care about our community as members. We are actively looking to increase our membership here to make an impact in our community. We are the Chamber of Commerce is having a business expo next Thursday, September 18th. We will have a booth there. On that same day from 3:30 to 6:30, it's at the Omar Schreiner Convention Center. We are going to have a new member open house. We will have refreshments, hors d'oeuvres, beer and wine, anything to lure anybody into the meeting. And we just encourage everyone to come to learn about Exchange and the impact that we can have in the community of Mount Pleasant. Thank you for your time.
Larry Kabrowski.
Thank you. Good evening. It's an honor to be here. I'm Larry Kabrowski, and I represent East Cooper, a large part of Mount Pleasant and Charleston County Council, but I'm here not speaking on behalf of the council, but as an individual tonight. First, I want to thank you for your leadership on Highway 41, and I want to apologize to Mayor Haney and Councilman Icafino who came to our council meeting, and I don't feel you were treated with the respect that you both deserve. I'm with you on that, and I'm a lonely voice on that. Look to the elections and look carefully. There's 4 seats open next week. Maybe we can change that. I believe that it's best the community you represent, the town of Mount Pleasant, and you couldn't have spoken louder, and we needed to listen, and I'm in agreement. I'm also here to speak about the annexations tonight. I've lived in East Cooper for 46 years. We're all part of the same process. I lived in Mount Pleasant, Isle Palm, Sullivan's Island. My wife is from McClellanville. Her best friend from childhood lives in Allendale. So I see the big picture. And I ask you to consider that we have historic districts there and protect something that's unique to be treasured in Charleston County and all of America is the historic settlement communities. If you annex it, you will change the protections. Right now, it's 1 home per 3 acres. If you annex it in, that changes to 3 homes per 1 acre. You can do the math. And one of the biggest problems we have East Cooper to preserve our quality of life is the traffic. All that will reverberate back to Mount Pleasant and affect us. Not only will you be jeopardizing something through generations of blood, sweat, and tears has remained through all kinds of adversity, but you will be increasing the impact in our daily lives. And anybody that goes north in Highway 17 knows right after you go to all the subdivisions that are developed, you run smack into that. That's where I hope we can draw a line in the sand and don't do to Highway 17 North what's happened to Highway 17 South, because that was a gray area of where there wasn't the city of Charleston, the county, who knows what, the different towns there, and they've created a nightmare. And I think one reason we've been more successful than West Ashley about containing traffic is we've had a town in Mount Pleasant that would never let happen here what happened in West Ashley. So I beg you to please consider it and don't add to our problems here by putting all those, you would open the door to, that's where developers are going, that's where the rubber hits the road. please don't annex that area and change what we're trying to do there. We're all in this together. I'm just speaking as somebody who lives here and wants to maintain it. Thank you.
That's all I have, sir.
Is there anyone who came to speak that did not get to sign up for public comment? Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Waring Howe. I live at 118 French Street. I live in the house I was brought home to at birth. An integral part of Mount Pleasant governance are elections. We have elections exactly 8 weeks from today. 9 candidates for council for 4 positions, and then election for mayor. When you have that kind of group of candidates, it takes a little effort and concerted effort to get to know, to vet. The candidates are essentially job applicants. And, you want to know not only the candidate, you want to know the person. There are about 5 sort of basic questions that go to a person's profile. Where do you live? You married? Got children? What do you do for a living? And those examinations conducted, and I know a little bit about examination, being an attorney for 41 years, you want to have as much of an opportunity to question a candidate, to have them side by side. And a great vehicle for that are the candidates forums that I've heard mentioned. You've got several scheduled. I know of one October 7th that's here. There are others, the Chamber, League of Women Voters, various of civic groups. And then when you have the candidates together like that, you can compare and contrast. For example, certain dichotomies can come up. We've got one candidate who is a nurse anesthetist, and we have another candidate who owns vaping businesses. One is for maintaining respiration, one is to harm respiration. And when it comes to vaping, the debate about it is over. It's flat out harmful. So much so that this town has an ordinance banning vaping in almost all public places, thanks to an amendment to the anti-smoking ordinance. I believe it was 2018, and the amendment proposed and driven through by Councilman Santos with all his good reason and good sense. There's a candidate for town council currently. He ran 2 years ago, Perry Rourke. I'm glad he's here so he can hear my plea that back then he did not attend any candidates forums. And when asked what he did for a living, what was the nature of his small business.
Your time's up. Sorry. That was the beeper.
That was 2.5 minutes?
Mm-hmm. Same as everybody.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good afternoon. Craig Askew from 10 Mile, Allendale, South Carolina, 987 Gadsdenville Road. Longtime business owner in Mount Pleasant. I think we've been in business 57 years now. I'm not that old, but we've been in business 57 years. And I'd love to say that I served at least about 16 years doing school board work. So I understand exactly what you guys are doing. A little bit, but it's thankless. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to all the public, both sides. But I'm here today to represent 10 Mile, my community, where I grew up. A traditional Gullah Geechee community found nowhere else in the world but right here in Charleston County, Mount Pleasant. Beautiful backyards, beautiful waterways and trees, and the birds and the ecosystem, no better. But I want you guys to realize the impact of the zoning change that you can make. And we could sit here tonight and think it's a small thing, but change is about small things. It's all about the small things. And so I want you to try to keep some semblance of where you came from. There's an African proverb or a saying called Sankofa. You always have to look back so you know where you're going. family, faith, follow up. The follow up is reflection. You look back a little bit, not too long, but you look forward. We need to keep some things. Can't give away everything now. But keep something for yourself. Thank you.
Jeremy Manchester, 3133 Pignatelli Crescent. Hello, council, mayor. I'm the guy they're talking about building 5,000 houses on 12 acres that's protected by wetlands. Like it's a field, a pond. I'm just trying to annex into Mount Pleasant. I was given two options for zoning. You know, like I'm absolutely willing. I talked to three of you guys. I'm absolutely willing to change it if I can. I think one of you guys mentioned that I could go one house per 1 acre, and I still don't even know if you could do that because of all the wetlands. But I'm completely up for it. I'm surrounded by Tupelo, like on 2 or 3 sides, which is 100% Mount Pleasant with all the voters. I'm not trying to. Obviously, I don't have an attorney here representing me trying to hack my property up into 5,000 pieces. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to annex into Mount Pleasant. Get trash, get all the things that I'm used to at my house now, and all the things that the 50 houses right behind me attached to my property currently get. So for all the folks on the other side of the road that have been here for 50 years, I've already butchered every corner, every block, every blade of grass. That's not what I'm asking for. Like I said, guys, if I can do it, can you ask to go from? Can I ask to go to 1 acre? Oh, sorry. See, that's the thing. You can't ask questions, you can't answer. But just so you all know, I'm trying to get into Mount Pleasant. My business is here. I've got 3 kids. 1 house per 1 acre, even a third. Have you guys ever tried to manage a third of an acre? I mean, it's a lot, but that's what I'm willing to do. Like I said, just to get into Mount Pleasant. That's what I'd ask for. Surrounded by Mount Pleasant now. If any of you guys want to come out to the property so you can see it for yourselves, I'm more than happy to have you guys out. Thank you much. And by the way, I know it didn't work like that this week, but anytime I've ever called the police, they've been Johnny on the spot, and it's not just 1 or 2, it's like 6. They've been there, bang. That's happened. Even my office manager called 911 by accident. 2 guys showed up just to check in on her, and that was down on Vincent Street. So, I mean, the guys are absolutely awesome. Sure. Sorry, my time's up. Sorry, guys.
Thank you.
Good evening, Perry Rourke, 2004 Brickcomb Parkway. Probably about 2 years ago, I came before council addressing the amount of time you get for public comment. We just had a gentleman here a minute ago that was speaking and was a little disappointed that he only got 2.5 minutes. Seemed like he wanted to go on for a little longer. So, I would bring that back up again eventually, that I think it'd be good that we relook at that. Again, we're hearing from a lot of citizens tonight, and I think having that input, and I think, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Tinky and, others that are supported by Mr. Howell might want to have a little more time for him to speak. So, thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? All right. Public comment is closed. This moves us to item 7, which is consent agenda items, which is final reading for an ordinance for the issuance and sale of not exceeding $60 million for Waterworks. Do we have a motion, please?
Move for approval, Mr.
We have a motion to approve. Mr. Rambo is sick tonight. He is our Water Resources Committee Chair. He would have been here. We have a motion and a second. Let me just add that if there are any questions, Waterworks is well represented here tonight. We have the general manager, we have the chief financial officer, and we even have the legal counsel. If you have any questions, please avail yourself of their presence here if you feel like you have a question. Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Good evening. How are you?
Honor to be here, Mayor and Council. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a couple questions. I did have a chance to speak with some elected officials, which was helpful to helpful to me. So what is the purpose of it coming to council? Is a question. Like, are you're a monopoly? And are we your double check? Is that what's, and maybe Mr. Pagliarini can give us some history as well. So why does it come to council then?
So Councilman Iacofano, I appreciate that question, and I appreciate you referencing our elected officials. Just to be clear, the Waterworks has 5 at-large commissioners and 2 additional ex officio. The mayor sits on that as well as Jake Rambo. So we go through our own process. Very similar to you. We have 2 public meetings a month where the public is certainly welcome to be a part of that process. This bond issuance we have been discussing that for the last 8 or 9 months. So it has certainly been available to the public. We have made every opportunity to allow for public input. The second component of your question, I would probably defer to your council to ask, unless you would like me to take an attempt at that, or my counsel, because that becomes a very legal question. What is this process? We have had our commissioners, they have reviewed the information, they have voted on this process, and it is my understanding that town council needs to concur with that debt issuance.
Yes, sir. Mr. Iacofano, I mean, as a general matter, that's correct by law. Town council is required to approve these bond issues, and that is the wisdom of our state system.
It's standard throughout the state then?
Yeah. Standard throughout the state, but just to be clear, we do have our own board of commissioners that are elected.
Okay. Thank you. And then I did hear there's going to be another bond coming soon as well, with 41. Is that correct?
I would say that is uncertain. The relocation work at this point is not clear. If 41, along with 526, together, those relocation costs could push upwards of $20+ million for the Waterworks. Those are assets we have in the ground that aren't fully depreciated and that we do not plan on replacing but for the relocation work. Depending on the timing of that relocation, you are correct. We have programmed the money as a bond issuance to cover those relocations. Depends on when they come, Councilman Iacofano.
Thank you. And then and then on the rates, you look out for the next 10 years. You assume what the rate increases are going to be. And that has been included with this bond. The bond issuance is included in that assumption of the next 10-year rate increase.
Correct. You know, as you're aware, there's really 2 ways to pay for capital improvements. You can pay go. We can pay with the rates this year with cash fund that capital improvement, which we roughly fund $20 million a year with cash, excess cash from revenues. That is the point of the revenue. $60 million, obviously, if we were to cash fund those projects, you would see a significant rate increase. The current rate increase that we just enacted July 1st of this fiscal year, roughly 3% of that is what covers this bond issuance, the $60 million. There was reference made to the fleet facility that has already started construction. Half of that facility is paid with cash. We paid cash funded half of that cost. And you might ask yourself, well, why do we issue a bond for the other remaining portion? Some of that is related to bond philosophy. Why do we issue bonds at all? Our assets will have a useful life of 50 to 100 years. If we cash funded that, you and I would pay for that this year. These assets last 50 to 100 years. To me, it only makes sense that future customers pay for these assets as well. So to minimize a sharp increase in peaks of rates, same reason the town issues bonds as well, is so that we can spread those costs out over the life of these projects. This will be a 25-year maturity on this bond.
I have 2 more, so I'm sorry. So I'm going to ask them both at the same time to save you a little bit of time. one, where do we align on rates compared to other around municipalities around? And I I do know when we expanded our facility for public works, one of the big things was, and maybe I'm lobbing you a softball here, but one of the big things was bringing maintenance in, being able to get the trucks back on the road quicker. What is the difference between what you're doing now and building the maintenance facility? Is it expand? I've been to your maintenance facility, which was very small and old, yes, but so what's the difference so that the public understands that? I guess.
Excellent. So two-part question.
Rates compared to
rates compared to others. So we do look at a regional comparison. That's very important to us. What are our peers in our region paying? We fall right in the middle of that bell curve. So currently a 5,000 gallon customer, you're paying approximately $115 per month right now. And that is right in the middle of our regional peers. Your second component was related specifically to the fleet maintenance building. We have had engineering groups provide us with an analysis, a fleet maintenance report. We will be saving approximately $30,000 per year by the construction of this facility. You're right, Councilman Icofano, you have been to our single bay fleet maintenance facility. Currently, we have a single bay that is undersized. If you're familiar with the work we do, we have very specialized pieces of equipment. We are having to drive in FY25 approximately, all total, 5,000 miles to receive maintenance on our vehicles. We're taking them to North Charleston, some to Columbia, and that is also an inefficient operation with staff time. So there will certainly be, the new facility will certainly be economically beneficial to the Waterworks. And $30,000 a year roughly is that number. Now, when you add the 5,000 miles along with staff time, not included in the $30,000 outsourcing fee, that number goes north pretty quickly.
Thank you.
I don't know which one of you would want to answer this. Would you share news about the bond rating?
Oh, wonderful. I would be glad to, but since I have our CFO, Mark, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I can answer that.
I'm really proud. This is since you teed me up, Mayor, you have been through bond ratings before, so you understand how long that takes and the work that takes to achieve a bond rating. That is when someone comes in, looks at your books, audits you, and then gives you the financial strength of your company. I'm going to let Mark answer the question of where we stand today, but understand that a lot of where we are is because of Mark's hard work.
Thank you, Mark Coffey, CFO. And one thing with the bond issuance, the rating agencies will generally call up, do a surveillance call. And last bond we had was 2017, and so Standard & Poor's decided to call us last fall. After about 7 years, check on our stuff, ask them questions. And in the middle of December, they upgraded us to a AAA. And we're one of the smallest AAAs in the nation. And we're the fourth in South Carolina.
Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. That also saves the ratepayers money because you get a better interest rate. Yes.
Mr. Klum, could you discuss the benefits of having a deep well in an area that's Tri-County area that's growing with a lot of pressures on the water system that we have and the water source?
Excellent question, Councilman Tinky. The first thing that comes to my mind when we're talking about the expenditure of a large amount of money is how will this impact? Is this the right decision for our ratepayers? Not today, but is it the right decision for our ratepayers tomorrow and 100 years from now? That new deep well will provide the source of drinking water for MPW, for this community, for the next 100 years. We will be the only entity that has access to that aquifer. We will be alone in that resource. Right now, we share the Charleston aquifer with other withdrawals, and the pressure is becoming more every day. We have seen a permanent reduction 5 years ago, upwards of 40% reduction. Now, when you are a water utility planning for the future, planning for 100 years, and your permit is reduced by 43%, that is a concern. So you ask yourself, where will our water come from? Our hope is it will come from the Grambling Aquifer, which is included in this bond issuance, a $20 million new well to replace a failing asset. So hopefully I've answered that question.
Thank you.
I would say we can't afford not to do this work. That's how important these projects are to this community.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And thank you, Mr. Klum, for coming to us today. I've heard some comments from residents regarding the rates that they're paying, and I understand that there is a consequence of having the cheapest water in the area, and that is that water system is probably not reinvesting in its infrastructure. But we do have folks in our community who have fixed incomes or financial difficulties, and rate increases year after year make it difficult for them. What do you have, what, if anything, do you have in place to help those senior citizens or those people who are experiencing financial difficulties keeping their water on?
Yeah. Excellent question, Councilman Brownstein. The value of water is a story that I try to talk about as often as I can. The quality of water, the quantity of water that a community has available to it really puts its fingerprint on the type of community you have. The water quality and quantity that we have right now is exceptional. And I think as it relates to economic development, as it relates to the quality of life of this community, water is life. We do have resources available. We have a customer care fund, certainly that we assist individuals that can't afford their bill or that have fallen upon hardships. So we do have that available as a resource. That may be the answer to your question.
And the second question that I have is, what are y'all doing to control personnel costs? I think it was referenced earlier in public comment regarding adding employees over the years. Can you talk a little bit about the increase in headcount and what, if anything, you are doing to try to control those costs?
Certainly can. Again, to dig into all of that information, it can be difficult. There's misinformation out as well. Since my time as general manager, we have grown staff approximately 2% per year. So that would be the accurate number of our growth. So 2% per year employee staff growth at MPW. I think that probably aligns with town's growth. I'm not certain the number that town council would reference as what is the community's growth been, but 2% has been the growth in our employees.
Thank you.
Right. Any others? Yes, sir.
What's the impact been, and impact being the word? I'm assuming you're not getting as many impact fees as you once were. So what is that impact on you? Pun intended.
Yeah. Impact on the impacts. Very good point. With the reduced growth, that is reduced impact fees. MPW has long had a model that growth pays for growth. New users pay for the demands on the system that they create. So that is the purpose of an impact fee. And yes, we are receiving less impact fees with reduced growth. There's consequences of that. The capital investment, the cash funded investment that I discussed earlier, that will be driven by rates. That is our only source of revenue. Just to be clear, MPW, the only revenue we receive is through ratepayers, right? There's no federal dollars, state dollars. It is all driven by revenue. So Mr. Acofano, it is either coming through impact fees as the town grows, or it is coming through the water bill through our rates.
All right. Any others?
I've got one more, I swear.
All right.
This is it. If you were to sell to other municipalities with this new well, would they be paying an impact fee by getting online? Would they be paying a higher rate? Would they be like, what is, I'll just say Allendale, for example. I don't know if you sell to Allendale now or not, but if you sold.
I can tell you at this point, we have no plans, no relationships, no contracts to sell water from the Grambling Aquifer to any other utility. That water at this time is for MPW customers.
If it were an if, would it be at a higher rate than
Very
Yeah.
hypothetical at this point. I think our commissioners would need to make those decisions.
Okay, thank you.
All right, the motion is to approve. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Final reading, ordinance number 25045.
All right. Item number 8 is planning. Item A, new business, and I want to thank you, Mr. Klum and Mr. Coffin, for your excellent answers and being here for the information. Thank you. Ms. Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this first request before you
Move to
is
deny.
to
Second.
All right, this is on A1. All right, we have a motion to deny in a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 2,
Move to approve.
Second.
we have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
First reading, ordinance number 25047.
Item 3,
Move to approve.
Second.
we have a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh,
well,
sorry.
hold on.
Yep.
So this is the sorry, just orienting. This is the 12 acres in the 10-mile community.
No.
No.
Sorry.
We're back.
Okay, we're on 3. Okay, never mind.
Yep. On 3, the motion is to approve. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I would like Ms. Reed to please explain to council members who are not on the planning committee the information we received working with Charleston County.
Sure. Yes, sir. So these are 2 parcels that are currently in the county. They are within the urban growth boundary, and they are also within the 10-mile historic overlay district. The proposal is to annex them in and zone them CC, community conservation, which would be 3 units an acre, and that is appropriate provided they are within the urban growth boundary. The Planning Commission and the Planning Committee recommended approval, and I think the impetus for that was you have 2 separate parcels. This one is S3, which is comparable to RCC, and then the front parcel is actually zoned in the county as community commercial. If you compare that to the town zoning, it's comparable to our AB2 zoning, which is our most intense commercial zoning. And so I know that planning staff reached out to the county, and it was sort of it's a down zoning of the property, but it does affect that 10-mile historic overlay. And so, but I think that the positive of that was that it was going to take that front parcel that could allow very intense zoning in the county and bring it to CC, which is, so both of those would be a 3 units per acre, which would be, of course, commensurate with what's allowed in the S3. And so both the commission and the planning committee did recommend approval for those. So I'm happy to answer questions.
Any further discussion?
So this is at 10-mile community at 3 units per acre?
Correct. It's within the historic overlay.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be subject to that moratorium that council adopted a couple of months ago that's in place. So you couldn't develop it with more than 4 new lots.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any further? All right, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
First reading, ordinance number 25048.
This moves us to section B, old business, final reading.
Move to defer.
Second.
To defer?
Yes, and the reason for that is the applicant indicated that he wanted to change his application, so I think we should defer to give him the opportunity to do so.
Mr.
Just
yes.
Procedural, as I understood the request and as I understood information from our planning director, the change in application would be to zoning, and he cannot do that at this point. We would need to have new public hearings. So from that perspective, and I'm assuming that is what you're requesting, I'm not sure a deferral helps him in that regard.
So that it would be a motion to deny?
Yes, ma'am.
But Does that mean he gets to reapply?
Yes, sir.
Does that mean maybe the community and I don't
Now
know
that-
that the two of them have talked, but 1 unit per acre is what he's offering.
That is for the, let me make sure, the annexation is part one, the zoning is part two. So let me be clear, I'm answering the question as a whole.
Right.
Annexation, if that is what council wishes, could move forward, but on the zoning part of it, it would be, if you'd like for him the opportunity to change his application, deny the zoning, and he can come back with a new zoning request.
If we deny the zoning, does it come in, what does it come in as?
Well, it'll annex as,
Rural residential.
right.
And rural residential is how many units per?
It's 3 units an acre, the same as
Right.
community conservation.
So
Still-
it would be better than to deny
Right.
both. Right.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, right, when he's in the audience,
the floor.
is it an opportunity for him to come up and tell us exactly what he wants to do? Because it's a little confusing. Listen.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No?
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
Yes.
The issue is based on our zoning. We don't have a choice here. It would be nice if we did, but we don't. To invite the applicant up, we've already heard from him. And what we're trying to do is respond to his request based on our current ordinances. So I think what we're trying to do is respond, but respond in a way that it can eventually be done. But we've got to go through the process under our current ordinances.
Ms. Hyatt?
What would be the timeline for him? He said you'd have to do the public hearing and all. I mean, that'd just be a couple of months, right?
Yeah, so if he were to reapply, it would be a different request. He would be requesting rural conservation instead of CC. And so because it's a new request, he wouldn't have to wait. He could immediately reapply.
So a motion to defer would give him the opportunity to withdraw this application and reapply. Conceivably, correct? Like a motion to defer would give him the time to withdraw his current application. We don't have to actually deny it. He can withdraw it and he can reapply with rural conservation.
Yes,
That-
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Assuming that's what he does.
Okay.
And what would a motion to deny do?
Motion to deny the annexation.
Yes.
And, well, at that
Then it
point.
stays under
it would
the
stay in the county.
historic district.
Right, it would stay
stays
in the
in the
county
historic
as
district.
is. And then if there were a follow-up or new request, he could again request annexation and a zoning designation as discussed.
So he would get water and sewer in the county if we denied the annexation.
Correct.
At a third of what he would get if we bring it into the town as CC. So what would stop that if we annex it?
Right.
It would come in as CC, right?
That's what he has requested.
But I think if you do a motion to defer, it puts it on him to go do what he said he really wants to do. And if he doesn't, then it comes back to council, and then council votes what the council wants to vote.
Exactly.
So I think the motion to defer, which I would agree with Ms. Whitley on, allows him to come back, show that he wants to do what he wants to do, or show that he doesn't, and then it doesn't start any new paperwork, it does anything, and then it comes back to council in a month, and if he's done nothing, then what he said up here isn't true. Am I correct? I'm not allowed to say all
no,
that,
sir.
but I did say all that.
All that's correct, but it depends on a withdrawal. And I can't answer for the
Right.
applicant
No,
at this point.
nobody can. Yeah. I mean, that gives 30 days for us to know if he's really going to be doing it. Yeah, sorry.
Ms. Reed?
Yes, sir.
How long has this discussion within 10 Mile been going on with the county and on determining from the county's perspective on the historic overlay what the process would be that the residents of the community would like to see? And that's question number one. Question number two is it's until July 2026 that they have to come up, unless they extend, to come up with the solution. So how long has that been going on?
So the work for this overlay has been going on for about 3 years. It did go to the Planning Commission yesterday evening, and it received a recommendation for approval, but it still has to go to committees and council for 3 readings. And I do want to clarify that, so at this point in time, it is 1 per 3 out there.
Right.
The proposed amendment could be that it changes 1 per 1. We won't, whether or not county council adopts that or not is yet to be seen, but that's correct. It's hopefully we start to see, by around November or December, what direction they're going to take, which will of course help us in our process as well.
So, Ms. Reed, as I understand it, it's 1 per 3 acres right now.
Correct.
Versus R1, 1 per 1 acre, and which is a significant difference in density between the two, and they are under discussions with that, and we don't know if it's going to end up with 1 per 3 or 1 per 1 or some hybrid, but that was one of the reasons I believe we voted for annexation, not annexation, we voted for the moratorium so we could coincide with the wishes of the community. And it's coming along. At this point, it seems to be gaining speed because there has to be an answer by July of 2026. So my vote would be to continue the way we are, to deny, so that we could see what the answer is as far as that particular area.
Yes, I concur. Yes, sir.
When does this, Ms. Reed, when does this hit the 6
6
month
months.
mark? Yeah.
So I was just going to say something to be aware of is that there has to be action taken 6 months from the time the public hearing was held, which I believe was June. So we're coming up on that very quickly. And what happens at the 6 month mark, if there is no action, it's automatically approved. So
Automatically approved or denied?
the annexation and the zoning? Okay, automatically denied.
Denied. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's unclear whether we're going to know what the county's doing with this this zoning area before we hit that 6 month window. My inclination is also to deny, but I will go along with the deferral for tonight and see if we can get some more clarity on what the county's going to do.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion, of the motion to defer, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No. How many noes? 2? Okay.
No.
Yes, motion carries. Flipping the page to item B2.
Motion to defer.
Second.
We have a motion to defer and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
1 no. Motion carries. All right. Item 9, committee action items, planning committee. 1 and 2, we will probably discuss these together, but number 1 is discussion and possible action regarding the heights of detached accessory structures. I will leave it to Ms. Reed or the chair of the planning committee to walk us through this.
I'll just briefly say that the planning committee was split 2-2 on both of these issues. We could not come to an agreement in either direction on recommendations regarding this. So I'll let Ms. Reed take it from here.
Thank you. Yeah, so the Planning Commission, this has been going between committee and back to commission, and then came to committee earlier this month. So the commission for the height, I'll take them separately and then we can discuss them together. For the height of detached accessory structures, the commission did have some recommendations. What they wanted to do, and we can see it in the table here a little bit more clearly, but they wanted to go back to the old 20 feet in the old Village Historic District. So it used to be 20. It went to 25. They wanted to go back to 20, and they wanted to add that 10-foot setback for side and rear. What they wanted to do in the rest of the town, so that includes Old Mount Pleasant and the entirety of the town, they wanted to keep it at 25 feet. But based on some studies from Wilmington, North Carolina, and Savannah, and some other municipalities that are dealing with this. They wanted to take any portion of that 25 feet that's over 18 feet. They wanted to add a 10-foot side and rear setback. They also wanted to add, along with the 850 maximum square footage, they wanted to add a 40% maximum. So regardless of the 850, your detached accessory structure can't exceed 40% of your principal structure. And so that's the Planning Commission recommendation. As Councilman Whitley said, the committee was split on this, but it comes to you with that recommendation, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve what the Planning Commission recommended, with the exception of in the Neighborhood Preservation Overlay District and the rest of the town, that there is a requirement that at no time will the new construction be higher than the existing property height. In other words, if the existing property is, or existing house or dwelling is at 25 feet, then the new could go to 25 feet. If it was only 20 feet, it could only go to 20 feet. Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Madam Clerk, did you get the motion? Huh?
I believe so.
Okay. Council members, it
get
was
it?
the most. It
Yeah.
was kind of complex, but before we go into discussion, let's make sure we're agreed. Mr. Pagliarini, as you and I discussed yesterday, no matter what we pass on this today, it goes back to the Planning Commission and it has more public hearing, right?
Correct, sir. It has to have a public hearing, and then it would come back to committee and then council for 2 readings.
Okay. So even what we send to this is just what we're sending back to the Planning Commission. And this is almost exactly what they came up with the first time. Okay. So this is not something that's going to go into effect and not stay in the system for a while with public hearings. Yes, sir.
I appreciate the question, and I think it's important as it goes back that a real effort is made to go into those communities that it affects and make sure that they adequately know what's going on, because it's been a contentious issue. We've talked about it a lot. I think a real effort needs to be made to be very specific, to reach out to people in those areas so they fully understand what's going on and can give input on those areas. I think if we do that, hopefully we'll get more input and we'll get better participation, and we'll have a better result.
Okay.
Yes,
sir.
I've got one question. So, Mr. Chapman, were you saying, so if somebody has a ranch and they want to build an ADU, they can only build an ADU that's a ranch, or that is the height of the ranch?
Correct.
Is that, I mean, just while it goes back, is that then encouraging people that may have just built an ADU that was 2 stories and keep their ranch? Are we encouraging people then to go up on their ranch now, because then they could go up on their, build their house to 2 stories so they could build their ADU to 2 stories? I mean, it's, as it goes back, I guess the planning is something to discuss as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a jigsaw puzzle. There's no lie.
And really, but by doing this in the motion, we are continuing the discussion. We are not reaching final decision on all of this, but these are all good questions. Yes, Ms. Whittle.
So I was in the other half of the committee that was against this. We spent 2 years on our zoning code, and we passed it in May. And now we're gonna just pull the rug out from under people and change it. I also think this setback, side and rear setback, is going to severely impact certain people's properties where they're not going to be able to build an ADU at all, because with these setbacks in place, there is no room to build an ADU or to build a detached accessory structure. I think leaving it the way that we did it in our new code is best for the property owners. I don't want to penalize the people. There's a talk of protecting the people in the little ranch homes, but the neighborhood's in transition, and people need when they comes time to sell their home and they realize that they're stuck with with a ranch height and someone's going to have to like tear down the whole thing in order to get what they want. I think it's going to result in an acceleration actually of this turnover of the neighborhood of tearing down the ranch homes, because people are going to be limited to the certain heights, and these setbacks are not going to enable them to build what they need for their families. So I'm not in favor of this.
Yes, sir. Mr. Rouse.
Yes, just briefly a point of order. I don't think we have a second on this motion.
Is there, yeah, okay, we do that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I agree. I think that if you're limiting the accessory structure to the height of the home, that the unintended consequence could be exactly what was just outlined, and that it would encourage you to demolish the home and start from scratch. And so I would encourage us to think about that, whether it's now or when it comes back to us. I also think that there's some confusion about ADUs and accessory structures, that those are all short-term rentals. The town has a cap on short-term rentals. I think in most cases, these are people either building for their extended families or parents who are aging, and so I think there is a real value to those ADUs and accessory structures. I also think when you start dropping it below 25 feet to 20 feet, it encourages flat roofs. It encourages HVAC equipment mounted to the side of the building. So I think that those are all very important considerations for us. And I on this one, I kind of agree with Council Member Whitley that we really went through a pretty exhaustive several year period of zoning. And I'm not quite sure what the impetus to abandon or modify that work is in this situation. We really haven't heard from many citizens at all. I am encouraged that this goes back to Planning Commission and that there are public hearings for this, because I just think that the general public is not aware that we're even contemplating these changes, and it's highly important to them. And so I would echo Council Member Tinkey's proposal to really put this out there and let people know that these are changes being contemplated, and they need to, or they should be aware of them and to make their voices heard. Because I just feel like I've been in the planning committee, I've been at the planning commission meetings when all of these were discussed, and there was very little public comment, very little public input. And so I'm a bit scared that we're putting the cart before the horse, so to speak.
All right. Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
Mayor, I want to clarify. Simply because you want to do an ADU next to or in the same property as you have a ranch, that doesn't mean you have to tear down the ranch. It doesn't mean you can't simply add on to the ranch or add a story onto the ranch. So it doesn't mean what has been stated by some of my friends on council. What it means is the neighborhood becomes more equal in terms of what the heights within the neighborhood are. And we've had some issues come up before this council where people were complaining about exactly what got put in the ordinance. So it doesn't mean you got to tear down the house. It doesn't mean you can't add on to the house horizontally, or a structure, or an opportunity to go up a floor. It doesn't mean you can't do that. And so I resent the idea that you have to tear down the ranch or you can't do anything to the ranch. I happen to have lived in a house that was a ranch, and all we did was add on to the garage. We didn't put an ADU in, and we got a lot better viewing of the neighborhood by doing that. So that's where this is coming from.
Any other discussion? All right, the motion is to approve, and it had the conditions, as you saw, about the height in the old village going to 20 and the other at 25, but it cannot be taller than the existing building. I hope I didn't leave anything out, but everybody knows the motion. So all in favor of the motion to approve, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, hands, please. How many ayes? All right, 4, 5. Mr. Santos and me. All opposed?
No.
No.
Okay. So 5-3, the motion carries. And that was only item number 1. Item number 2.
Same thing. The committee could not come out with any recommendation on this one. We had votes and could not come out with that. I will just say my piece here, which is I also think this is what we have zoning in place that dictates what people can do with their property, and for just tell the people in Old Mount Pleasant that they can't tear down the red brick home and build what they want to build. If the public was aware of this, you would have them up in arms over this, and to limit it only to the old village, not the neighborhood overlay. Like if you're going to do it to everyone. Like why are we doing it just to Old Mount Pleasant? And I just think this is infringing on people's rights to do what they are allowed in our zoning code to do to their property.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just hoping that we're able to get a really good explanation of this bar ratio, because I think that this is something that committee didn't really understand. And I had mentioned during committee that, really we were only looking out after protecting 2 streets in town. And commission had recommended that we do all of this yellow area, this Old Mount Pleasant area to be considered. So maybe if we could explain the BAR
of course, yeah.
ratio,
happy
that
to
would
do
be
so.
helpful.
So the Old Village Historic District, which is down here in the beige, has had building area ratio for many years. So this is nothing new. All the commission has recommended is to expand it to Old Mount Pleasant area. So building area ratio it's really volume control. It's controlling the intensity and the mass and size and scale of what's getting built. And so these are kind of the standards. It's not comprised, your BAR, so your building area ratio, so everything you build on your lot can't exceed more than 50% of your lot size. However, if you have a really small lot, you can still build a house at least 2,500 square feet. Maximum BAR, regardless of how large your lot is 5,500 square feet. So I do have a couple of examples, and this is just the calculation. Building area ratio is literally the building floor area divided by the size of your lot. Everything that counts towards it, you can see here, and any sort of accessory building over 144 square feet is going to apply. So I have a couple of examples, and then I have kind of a real example in Old Mount Pleasant to show you what this would look like. So the first one is an 8,000 square foot lot. If you think about that 50% maximum, that doesn't replace anything else. So you still have 40% impervious surface, you still have 40% lot coverage, you still have your setbacks. It's just an added layer that has to be met. So 50% of that, which we learn is the maximum that you can have, would be 4,000 square feet. So that can look a couple different ways. It can be a 1-story ranch right here, that's 4,000 square feet. It can be a 2-story house, and all that building area ratio does not exceed 4,000. Or it could be a 1-story with an ADU that's made up, and again, nothing exceeds the 4,000 square feet, which is 50% of that lot size. So the second one is a smaller lot. A 4,000 square foot lot, 50% of that is 2,000. But remember, regardless of your lot size, you can have a house size at least 2,500 square feet. So you take that, again, if you don't exceed your impervious surface, your lot coverage, all of those things. So you take this one, and again, it's 2,000, but you get that extra 500. So it can, again, have any scenario. You can have a 1-story, you can have a 2-story, or you can have a 1-story with an ADU, all adding up to 2,500 square feet. So that's kind of what BAR looks like. An actual example, I looked, and I won't tell you what street it is. I blocked it off. But this is a site plan that we received. It's approved. It's under construction. This is in Old Mount Pleasant, so it's within that yellow area where BAR is not applied right now. If it were to apply, this is what it would look like. So you have your total lot area is a little over 9,000 square feet. Your house footprint is 3,200 square feet. You have an unheated garage that's 494, and then you have unheated covered porches, which are included, and that's over 500 square feet. So you take all that, you take the lot size, and your BAR for that lot comes out to 55.9%. That exceeds the 50%. This project went through and it's under construction right now because BAR doesn't apply. If BAR did apply, they would have to reduce their footprint by roughly 540 square feet to meet BAR. And again, this is what they're already doing in the old village. So this is nothing new. This is just expanding it. And so, you know, it may affect some lots, it may not, but I think the compound effect could be, you know, this is kind of a no-brainer way to sort of look at that size, mass, and scale of what's happening in older Mount Pleasant. And it's tried and true. It's been used in the old village, and so that's just kind of an example of what that would look like on a lot under construction right now if this were applied. And so hopefully that kind of answers your question, and I apologize for not explaining that at Planning Committee. But.
Yes.
Well, you did, but I'm not sure if everybody understood. But it's just a concept of protecting the character of the area when it comes to mass. The big complaint that we get from everybody is that the things that are getting built are just huge. And we talk about the 40% lot coverage, and nobody can believe that those things actually meet that requirement. And so this is just one extra step in that area that could protect the character of the area and sort of limit just the mass, even in the smallest way. You know, if it's 3-4% or whatever, it makes a difference in just maintaining the character of the area. So I'm in favor of expanding this to the just the old Mount Pleasant area.
And I don't believe we have a motion yet.
No, we don't. But I just wanted to explain. So I
Sure.
can make
I'll make a motion to approve the BAR.
Second.
And I just wanted to say I totally agree with Councilwoman Hyatt. It's been something that I've noticed throughout the entire time that I've lived here is that particularly on McCants and some other streets, it really is jarring to see the size of some of the new houses. And I don't think that this is unreasonable. I think it would help us constrain it a little bit. I think it would improve the harmony between the new builds and the existing structures. As Ms. Reed said, it's tried and tested in the old village area, and I think it would go. I just think it would help improve how some of those new homes are fitting in with their existing neighbors.
Ms. Willa?
So, according to Google, it is about $487 per square foot for real estate in Mount Pleasant for a home. If you were to reduce this person's home by 542 square feet, I just did 487 times 542, that is $260,000. You've just reduced this person's property value by $260,000.
There.
Yes.
As we send this back, I think it is important to both Ms. Hyatt and Ms. Whitley's, to look at the impact of what it has, but by doing it in a very specific way. If we're doing the Old Village, Old Mount Pleasant, we know what the lot sizes are, we know what the houses are, and we could see if the particular building to area ratio should be exactly the same as in the Old Village, or it should be some variation of that, given what we may find in looking at what the lot sizes are and what the typical structures are in those areas. I can only say in the Old Village of Mount Pleasant, having lived there 43 years, it stood the test of time well for us, but I could see how it could be different in a different area as far as the percentages and how it was done, just based on an analysis of what the lot sizes are in the existing houses. So I think it would be good just to have a little bit more information on it like that and see the impact, not only on this particular one where it has had a negative impact, but on the others as well, and maybe that will indicate a good solution.
Okay.
Yes, sir, and then Mr. John.
How old are the houses in Indian Village? Excuse me. 60s, 70s.
Well, specific in that old Mount Pleasant area, there's about 2,100 homes, and about half of them are over 50 years old. Half of them are newer.
I guess my question is why are we, I might use the word target, why are we only targeting Indian Village then? Why aren't we going after the Groves, after Cooper Estates, after Shenwood 2? All of those have the same exact character as Indian Village. Am I not mistaken? And then does this also mean that can a person double their house size or not double their house size? It depends on the lot size, I guess.
It depends. You mean under the building area ratio?
Yes.
It depends on what they have existing and the size of their lot.
Is doubling of a house size possible? But that has to depend on the lot.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, if it's a small house on a large lot, they could potentially double. Mm-hmm.
I guess that's my question. I see the same character in Cooper Estates. It's the same ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cooper? I spent my boyhood there on Cottingham Drive. Does it not have a property owners association?
Mm-hmm. No,
none at all. Because I know that there's a boat ramp, so
it's
there must
separate.
be something.
It's
okay,
a separate entity. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I think the reasoning is those lots are a lot bigger in those neighborhoods. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem expanding this town wide, but I don't want to be unreasonable. But those neighborhoods you mentioned, like the one I grew up in, Moss Park, those lots are half acre. So large houses there aren't impacting their neighbors as much as the older part of town that has smaller lots and everybody seems to be on top of each other. So they seem more impacted.
I think Cooper Estates has the same size lots, but I mean, I don't understand why we're going after one part of Mount Pleasant is kind of my question when all of those neighborhoods are very much the same. I've been to the Groves. Those houses are enormous in the Groves. Huge.
I think one reason was when a chart was put up of where the tear downs and rebuilds have been, they're all concentrated in this area west of Coleman Boulevard. I don't have the chart in front of me, but I remember seeing it and the numbers that were out there. So it makes sense that we would start where the issue is. And again, y'all, I just want to remind everybody, this is not passing an ordinance tonight. This is only referring this back for exactly what we're doing, which is discussing it. That's all it's doing. Is sending it back and having a public hearing and getting more feedback. So I think we all have questions with it, but you know, we either have further public discussion on it or we decide that we already know it all and everything is fine. And I favor having more public discussion on it by approving.
Mayor.
Yes.
One of the residual issues from doing this that hasn't been discussed is resiliency.
Right.
You're getting more open space, more pervious surface for the water to drain.
Right.
And these areas that we're talking about right now have a problem with drainage. So it helps with that as well.
Got it. Yes, sir.
I would perhaps just add amendment to it if it was approved to start with the board area, building area ratio of 50% of 5,500, but have it open to discussion as to what that formula was based on the results of any inventory or survey information.
I don't, point of order though, I don't think we need an amendment. I mean, all that's up for discussion.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
but I get
That's
what you're
fine.
saying.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
but we don't need an amendment at this point. All right, we prepared to vote. All those in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Right, opposed, please hold your hand up. 2, okay, so motion carries 6-2. All right, section 10, council business, new business, there is none. B, old business, there is no old council business. Item 11, if there's nothing further to come before this body, we stand adjourned.
Thank you. There you go. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree at all with what you're saying.
I just think it's a depth of 1,000 cuts. I think we did.